Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bay Area Case Studies Virtual College Fair Explore session. I'd like to thank you for joining us today. Just a few housekeeping items before we do get started. There's a Q&A button on your screen to type questions to our presenters at any time. And if you do have a question for a specific institution, be sure to mention that institution within your question. Your camera and microphone are turned off, so our panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many sessions happening this evening, so definitely go back out there and check out what else we are offering. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at strivescan.com/BACS. We have a great variety of schools they'll be presenting you today that vary in size, location, and other characteristics. And we do hope this session broadens your horizons during your college search. We are in Explore Session 17, and these are the colleges we'll be hearing from today. So we got University of Oregon, Union College, Seattle University, Brandeis University, Johns Hopkins University, and Clark University. So now, without further ado, I'll turn it over to our first institution, which is University of Oregon.
Thank you so much. I'm going to just quickly share my screen. Thank you all for being here tonight. My name is Loretta Klosterman, and I am one of the regional admissions counselors for the U of O. So I'm actually based here locally in Northern California and do work with you all students in this area. So don't hesitate to reach out to me for any reason. The U of O is located in the city of Eugene. We are 2 hours south of Portland and about 3.5 hours away from the California border. Just like anywhere in the Pacific Northwest, we are an incredible area for outdoor recreation, whether that's hiking, biking, or kayaking right in Eugene, but we're also equidistant between the Cascade Mountains and the Oregon coast. We really are that quintessential college town environment, very similar to a San Luis Obispo or a Davis in that regard, where there is a lot of, or I should say, a really strong sense of community and pride that Eugene is home to the University of Oregon. We are considered a mid-sized institution. Our total enrollment is about 22,000. However, our undergraduate population is just shy of 19,000. So we really do focus on that undergraduate education. We have academic majors from 168 programs. None of our majors are impacted, so our students are really able to explore and find the major that best suits them. You also do not need to know your major when you apply to the U of O. We understand that you may need some time to explore, and you have that ability to do so without getting behind in your 4-year graduation plan. We're also a Tier 1 research institution and a member of the AAU, the Association of American Universities, and one of 65 institutions in North America, so that does include Canada, to be an invited member of the AAU. We are being recognized for academic research as well as academic excellence at the U of O. These are some of our top majors on campus. We are also home to the Clark Honors College, which is consistently ranked one of the top honors colleges in the nation. Students do have to apply directly to the Clark Honors College, and it is also open to all students of all majors. So why students choose the U of O? I really think it's that balance of big and small, where our students are able to gain the access of a large institution such as research opportunities, Division I athletics, numerous study abroad opportunities, but also maintain that small academic environment. Our average class size is about 25 students, and our student to faculty ratio is 16:1. So we really do focus on that small school education. So some new things happening at the U of O. We have some great new programs, including data science, as well as our brand new minor in bioengineering. And we're really excited to be able to offer this as our new minor, and it is on track to be a major in the future. We have also added minors in Black Studies and Latinx Studies, and really excited to have these academic programs joining the U of O. So to apply to the U of O, you can apply through the Common Application, the Coalition Application, or the Oregon app. These are deadlines to be aware of. We have no preference what application or deadline you apply by. Our acceptance really and truly is the same across both of our deadlines. We do what's called a holistic evaluation, so we will take into consideration all of these things to really get to know you as a student as well as an individual. We are a permanently test optional institution. That means you truly do not need to send test scores to be eligible for admission. And test scores can only enhance your application. It cannot negatively impact your application. And we also have guaranteed tuition. So that means that cost of tuition will stay the same up to 5 years of education or until you complete that degree. So it is our commitment to you to be able to financially plan for college. So some things to do to learn more about the U of O is check out virtual.uoregon.edu. We have a lot of fun virtual experiences that I encourage you to check out. This is also my contact information. I will stick it in the chat, but thank you so much for being here tonight. Go Ducks!
Hello and welcome to Union College in upstate New York. Union is a small liberal arts college, remarkable because we also offer engineering. We offer four ABET certified degrees in engineering at Union, and we're just about to add a fifth, civil engineering with an environmental thrust. Union is just next to the state capital of Albany, New York, 3 hours west of Boston, 3 hours north of New York City, on a beautiful suburban feeling campus in a small city with a funny name, Schenectady, New York, which has urban flair, 40 restaurants, lots of internship and volunteer opportunities. We have 2,150 students at Union, so we're truly in that small liberal arts college zone. We have students from 40 states and 50 other countries. 24% of our students are BIPOC students and 9% are international. Those are the students from the 50 countries. We're a Division III school. We play in the Liberty League of upstate New York, but we also have Division I men's and women's ice hockey. And should you meet anyone from Union College, you may wish to mention ice hockey because in 2014, we won the national championship in men's ice hockey, and we talk about it all the time. Union has small classes and close working relationships with faculty members. 24 students in an introductory class, 14 students in an upper level class, 10 to 1 student to faculty ratio. Your classes are going to be small. We have a trimester, 10-week calendar, 3 times a year, so students are taking classes more intensively and getting to know their professors even better. Big majors at Union are biology, political science, economics, psychology, English, history, mechanical engineering, neuroscience, and bioengineering. We have that half of the students in sciences and engineering, half in humanities and social sciences. One thing that's very important to us is that students come to Union and they study a subject that they're interested in, but that they add another subject as the opportunity presents itself. So you're going to have the common curriculum. You're going to explore some other subjects. You may come to college with 2 interests. You may choose to do a double major, a major and a minor, a major and a double minor. Sometimes that comes from the 60% of students who go on an international program that they'll do a minor in an international area that they've studied, or they pick up an interest that's quite different from what they already know. They're studying biology, but also do bioethics and philosophy and add that to a profile for applying to medical school. At Union, immersive experiences are very important. 85% of our students do internships. I mentioned that there are internships in Schenectady. In fact, there are 50 internships within walking distance of our campus. 60% of the students participate in the international programs I mentioned, and they go to 40 different countries and programs for a full term abroad or for a mini term abroad. We feel that an introduction to the world is a very important part of your curricular experience, no matter what you study. And the last piece would be that students really do a lot of research. 100% of the sophomores at Union are engaged in a research project, and 85% of the seniors complete a senior thesis or a senior research project. It prepares students so well for whatever they're planning to do after they graduate from Union. They're able to show a project that they worked on with a faculty member, but also independently. We have a social house system at Union. We have 7 social houses. It's a popular and different opportunity where students in each of the houses, and every student belongs to a house, has resources to have gatherings and programs that they may be interested in. They might have pizza and politics, where someone from the political science department comes and gives a speech, and students can come and hear about why the New Hampshire primary is important. They might be enjoying Milkshake Monday or Waffle Tuesday, or doing a Portuguese language table. It's students leading students in the creation of activities. Faculty members and staff are willingly involved in all of those things. At Union, Every student has the opportunities. 95% of our students live on campus, 85% do research, 98% have jobs, are in graduate school, or have traveling fellowships within 6 months of graduation. And I'd add to that, Union is a top producer of Fulbright fellowships and is very proud to have 3 Watson Fellows this year, in addition to many, many other fellowships and awards. So the Career Development Center is ready to work with you from the first day you're at the college, and Union has a rich alumni base. 13,000 graduates are ready to work with you and talk to you about their careers and share their experiences and encourage you in internships and job applications. So finally, I'll just say, to apply to Union, you're going to use the Common Application or the Coalition application. Union has been test optional for 14 years. We also welcome students to have personal interviews, which we do by Zoom. So we're happy to see you and talk about your interests and make a match to you and what your questions are about our college before you come east to visit us, 3 hours west of Boston, 3 hours north of New York City, in beautiful Schenectady, New York. Thank you so much. I'll put my contact information in the chat.
Thank you so much for those presentations thus far. And just as a quick reminder, if you guys have questions, definitely don't hesitate to put those into the Q&A. Up next, Seattle University.
Hi, everyone, and my name is Adrienne Hodis, and I'm here to introduce you to Seattle University. We are one of 27 Jesuit Catholic universities in the United States, and one of more than 500 in the world. For those of you familiar with Jesuit education, you might know about our shared commitment to social justice, service, community engagement, global leadership, and care for the whole person. Of course, we cannot talk about Seattle University without talking about the city of Seattle. Students who choose Seattle U are looking for the best of both worlds. They really value that they can be a part of a really close-knit community where you can't walk from one side of the campus to another in probably more than 10 minutes without running into multiple people you know. But at the same time, they can spend all day in class and then walk just 3 blocks off campus and be at some of the city's best restaurants, coffee shops, music venues, art galleries, and so much more. We have that traditional campus experience with required and special themed halls for the first 2 years that you're with us. And then after that, our students stay pretty close, either on campus or in one of the many apartment buildings across the street. You'll note that we have an undergraduate population of about 4,700 undergraduate students. When you take away our law school and our College of Education, we're first and foremost an undergraduate institution with more than 65 degrees programs to choose from and 4 undergraduate colleges. Obviously, your academic experience will be at the heart of your college experience. So let's talk about what to expect at Seattle U. First, we are direct entry in the admissions process, meaning if you know what you want to major in, we will review your application specifically for that program. That's especially important for programs like nursing, the sciences, engineering, and computer science, as well as business. But of course, it is okay not to know what you want to major in or change your majors a few times once you're here. We do have a special program called Pre-Major Studies at Seattle U, which is an academic department and advising program just for undecided or undeclared students. And it's always one of the top 5 most popular majors for our incoming students. Regardless of your major at Seattle U, you will be a part of the University Core Curriculum, which is a sequence of 12 courses ending in a capstone project in your major where you tie it all together. There are classes such as a math requirement, a writing requirement, ethics requirement, writing requirement, a religious studies requirement, and my personal favorite, a hands-on art experience requirement, where you might find a class like improv, digital photography, sculpture, and so much more. These classes aim to ensure that regardless of what you're majoring in, you get a breadth of experience. And regardless of your major, it's also important to note you'll have excellent advising. We have advising centers in each of our 4 colleges, and advisors are really meant to be your first stop on campus. Whenever you have a question, they help you plan how to double major, minor, study abroad, and so much more. In addition to that, we have pre-health advising to prepare you for medical school, pre-law advising, and pre-education advising. And I would say if I were to sum up the CLU education in a few words, I would emphasize that students choose CLU because they don't want to learn within four white walls of the classroom. They want to learn through experiential learning and service learning opportunities. And if you were to look at the four-year plan of any of our majors, you would find that almost every single one of them has some type of internship, senior project, or clinical placement that gets you out in your intended field. I also want to assure you that you will have fun in college. We have more than 130 different student clubs and organizations. We are a Division I school. We're part of the Western Athletic Conference. We also have many different club and intramural sports. And while we are in the heart of Seattle, you could never leave campus and you would be busy every single day of the week. We have a student-run radio station, newspaper, as well as a musical production company. Additionally, we have some really fun clubs like the e-gamers club, the film club, the fashion club, the photography club, and so much more. We also have 25 different cultural and identity-based groups on campus. One of my favorite events is called De-Stress with Dogs, which brings staff and faculty dogs to campus right around finals week each quarter. Now to transition a bit into the admission side of things, you got to see firsthand what holistic review is all about tonight, and it's certainly something that's important to us, just as we really get to know the whole person you're becoming as part of your Seattle U education. We want to get to know you as an applicant to Seattle U and who you'll be as a member of our community, not just in our classroom, but on our campus. We have two deadlines. If you apply early action, you'll hear from us at the end of December. And if you apply regular decision, you'll hear from us the first week of March. Obviously, cost and affordability is at the heart of any decision. So please note that 91.5% of our students receive some type of financial aid. The average package is about $32,534. We have merit scholarships that are automatic at the time of admission, as well as a really cool full tuition and room and board scholarship called the Sullivan Leadership Award for students that embody our mission. I look forward to connecting with you all, and best of luck in your college search.
Thank you for that presentation. Up next, we have Brandeis University.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. My name is Jessica Schulman. I'm a Senior Assistant Director of Admission at Brandeis University. I'm also a Bay Area native, so it's really wonderful to be speaking with all of you. And kind of like my neighbors. So a little bit of brief history about Brandeis that I think is really important to understand when considering and understanding what Brandeis is all about. Brandeis was founded in 1948. We're actually a really young institution compared to a lot of our peers. We were founded at a time where a lot of elite colleges and universities in the United States used a quota system for admitting their incoming classes. They would admit X amount of students from this race or ethnicity, X amount of students from this religion, X amount of men, X amount of women, and that's how they would fill their incoming classes. As we know, that's a discriminatory practice in nature. One group that was being discriminated against in that quota system was the American Jewish community. So the American Jewish community came together to create Brandeis as a response to those quotas. So all students would get in based on their own academic merit and not based on their religion or color of their skin, or ethnicity, or if they were male or female. So you'll see a lot of themes of inclusivity, diversity, equality really woven into the Brandeis experience. We are a non-sectarian university. There's no religious component to Brandeis. We were just founded by the American Jewish community, and we want to pay homage to our founding friends. We are located just outside of Boston. We're 9 miles outside of Boston. Boston is the mecca of higher education. Depending on where you draw the boundary, there are 40 to 60 colleges in the greater Boston area. You have your own suburban campus on Brandeis's enclosed campus, but really easy access into the city to take advantage of internships, shadowing opportunities, conferences, but also all of the really wonderful things that being in a metropolitan area comes with. A couple of the highlights that I like to talk about with Brandeis. One is that there is a huge reverence for learning on our campus. Brandeis is a tier 1 research university. What that means is that a lot of our funding and resources go towards research, whether that's the hard sciences, the social sciences, the humanities, the fine arts. Every major needs research, right? In the United States, there's about 130 tier 1 research universities. The average size of those institutions is 26,000 undergraduate students. Brandeis is only 3,600 undergrads. We are the second smallest tier 1 research university in the United States. So you have the funding and resources of a big school at the size of a little bit larger than a traditional liberal arts college. You kind of get the best of both worlds in that sense. You're not competing against hundreds of graduate students or undergrads to have access in the labs and institutes and centers across campus. A number of our undergraduates get published as undergraduate students. The other highlight is an emphasis on social justice. A lot of students, due to the values and founding of Brandeis, put a lot of weight on social justice in a number of different ways. You'll find that Brandeis is an incredible platform for launching initiatives. Students want to advocate for things, change things, fix things in the world, whether that's advocating for LGBTQ rights or environmental sustainability or finding a cure for something, working with refugees, whatever your cause is. You'll find that Brandeis is a really wonderful platform for making sure that all of those social justice causes are given a critical eye and taken into consideration. Not just our social policy majors, but our math majors, our music majors. People are thinking about social justice from a number of different critical lenses. Our core curriculum is incredibly flexible in nature. There are no required classes. You choose what you take in order to fulfill those core requirements. Some of the highlights for our core curriculum, in my opinion, include a difference in justice in the world, a university writing seminar where instead of document-based questions and long research papers, you choose topics like Disney and DC villains or biomedical ethics. And you are able to really write at this high level, but on topics that you're really excited to learn more about. There's also a health, wellness, and life skills component. So instead of PE, we're having you understand financial literacy or stress management or CPR and first aid, and those skills that are really important as you navigate your way into adulthood. Over half of our students at Brandeis double major. You are not required to double major by any means, but because our classes are so flexible, so interdisciplinary in nature, a lot of our classes are cross-listed across majors. Maybe you like things that pair really nicely together. Maybe you like neuroscience and psychology or business and economics, but maybe you like things on opposite ends of the academic spectrum. Maybe you like chemistry and theater or English and studio art. You'll find that Brandeis students are really excited to double major, and you see that across all disciplines. In terms of on-campus and what that looks like, you're guaranteed 2 years of on-campus housing. However, 80% of our students do live on campus for all 4 years. There's a ton of different things to do, over 200 clubs and organizations ranging from business and academic-based groups to media and publications to spiritual and affinity-based groups to completely random ones. My personal favorite is the Cheese Club. They import fancy cheese from around the world and then they eat it, and that is their club. All of our clubs at Brandeis are inclusive and open to everybody, and that's the only way that they will get funding from student government. So going back to those values, all of our clubs will only receive funding from student government if they are allowing all students to join. In terms of what happens after college, our Career Center is with you for life as a Brandeis alum. So myself as an alum, I can go back to the Career Center when I'm 60 and want to change my career to be a lawyer. I can utilize their resources, and they report a number of alumni do that. We've been a test optional school since 2013, and as long as you submit the FAFSA and CSS profile, if you're a domestic-based student, we will meet 100% of your demonstrated financial need. So with that, thank you for listening, and I'm going to turn it back over to Clarissa.
Thank you very much for that presentation. As a final reminder for our attendees, if you do have questions, definitely don't hesitate to drop them in the Q&A. Up next, Johns Hopkins University.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Krista Grubb. I am an Assistant Director of Admissions at Hopkins and also an alum, and my family's from the Woodside area. So I'm also speaking to some of my neighbors here. So with that, when we're talking about Hopkins today, we are speaking about the Homewood undergraduate campus. But you'll see here that the Hopkins network is much more vast. So this includes our graduate programs, our applied physics lab, the medical campus, And so our undergraduate campus is medium-sized with about 5,000 undergraduate students, and it's its own campus separate from these different campuses. We have 2 schools on the Homewood campus. We have the Krieger School of Arts and Sciences and the Whiting School of Engineering. However, when you apply to Hopkins, you're applying to the institution as a whole. So you are not applying into one of those 2 schools or even directly into a major. There is, however, one exception to that, which is biomedical engineering. Now, when you leave this presentation today, I want you to leave remembering the equation: liberal arts plus hands-on experiences equals JHU. And so let's dive into that liberal arts piece. The reason that you're not being admitted specifically into a major or into a school is we want students to have the time to explore. Students have until the end of their second year to declare a major, and you can also add on additional majors and minors across both schools after that point. We just want to make sure that you're set to go to graduate within those 4 years, and you can combine interests that are seemingly similar or very seemingly separate. Our students are also able to easily double major. Over 60% of students do that. And we have a flexible distribution system, which is what makes it so easy to do so. So what that means is that you'll take classes across the humanities, social sciences, natural sciences, engineering, what we call buckets, but you are selecting every class that you take. So there's not a core set of classes that every student takes. No 2 student schedules will ever be exactly the same. And so you get that breadth in your curriculum. You get to learn from an interdisciplinary perspective while still practicing it with skills and interests that you have for your specific education. The other part to the Hopkins education is that second part of that equation, which is hands-on experiences. Hopkins was the first research university in the country, and we are still to this day the most federally funded. We spent over $2.5 billion with a B in research this past year, and our undergraduates have access to all of that. They have access to everything underneath the Homewood professors, but also across the entire Hopkins network. For example, one of our professors, his name is Chuck Bennett. He won a NASA Achievement Award for finding cosmic microwaves, and he teaches a freshman physics class. So that's the type of access to professors, these top tier professors in their field, and it's small classes as well. So it's a 7-to-1 student faculty ratio. So these professors oftentimes set students up with these opportunities through their own networks, but we also have an office in place to help set students up. Internships are another great way to start to see the practical impact of what you're learning in the classroom. So you'll see here the majority of our students are involved in research and internships. So whether that's traditional wet lab experiences, making an impact out in the city, or through humanities, social science research, Hopkins allows students to have the grants to be able to do that during their education. Our students are also making an impact on our campus. We have over 400 student groups, and what I really want to point out is that our student groups are 100% student-run and student-led. For example, we have the largest student-run fair in the country, so our students are doing the marketing, budgeting, scheduling, everything for that, and they have a budget of about $180,000 per year. And they are still, I know I'm going to get a question about it, they are still doing it virtually this year, even through COVID. Our students are also making an impact throughout Baltimore. Baltimore is a really unique place because as a young person, your voice is loud and heard. It's a college town. We are one of 14 universities, and there's an official college town network. So it's a fun, lively, vibrant place to be, as you can see through all the stats here. But most importantly, our students are changing policies in the city. They are changing sustainability efforts. This is really a place where young people can make a true impact. And so if you are starting to think about Hopkins as a potential fit for you, here are our different deadlines. So these were the deadlines for the past year, but it'll be roughly the same this upcoming year. You'll see we have 2 early decision processes, as well as a regular decision and a transfer process. And then when you're thinking about fit, you should also think about financial aid. For any college that you are applying to, that financial fit is very important. So our college will meet 100% of demonstrated need, and we will do that through grants and work study, no loans. So our students are graduating Hopkins completely debt-free. And so our students are able to make an impact in the world starting day one. They can take a career that is more impactful for them, that may be a little bit lower paying, or they can go straight on to graduate school without starting off with undergrad debt. Additionally, you'll see here that there's a sticker price for the institution, but that's not what the majority of families are paying. You can see here that the average grant awarded is $48,000. So with that, I want to wrap up my presentation talking about next steps. We've provided a whole college planning toolkit for you, so I highly recommend looking there. We talk about the admissions process in depth. We give workshops. We have essays that worked on our website, as well as much longer information sessions where you can hear from current students and other admissions officers. I hope that this is the beginning of the conversation for you with Hopkins, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Our final institution for this session is Clark University.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Glad to have you here. I'm going to talk a little bit about Clark University. So my name is Jess Howland, and I'm the Associate Director for Admissions. The first thing you should probably know about Clark is our motto, and that's challenge, convention, change our world. So that's going to be something that's going to be woven into the curriculum, the student life, and the experience at Clark. So just to give you a little bit of background, some demographics, we are a small liberal arts-based research university with a little under 2,300 undergraduate students and about 800 graduate students. We have about 13% of our students are international student, about 20% of our students are first generation to college, and about 25% of our students identify as BIPOC. We have a variety of different majors. We have over 30 majors, but we're probably best known for psychology. We have the distinction of being the only university where Sigmund Freud lectured. And to commemorate that, we have a very large Sigmund Freud statue in the center of our campus. Sigmund Freud is our unofficial mascot. Our official mascot is the cougar, but Sigmund Freud is the unofficial mascot. We are located in the city of Worcester, which is about 1 hour west of Boston. We're about 3 hours north of New York. We're about 45 minutes from Providence, Rhode Island. So we're pretty central. So you've got big cities, you've got Worcester, which is a small city, but you also have really close access to other places in New England. Everything out east is pretty close together, so you don't have to go too far to find that diversity. So as I mentioned at the beginning, Clark is a liberal arts-based research university. So what that looks like for our curriculum is that students are going to be taking a variety of courses. They're going to be fulfilling a lot of different perspectives. They're going to be exploring a lot of different academic departments, but they're also going to be getting a lot of experience outside the classroom. So our students are going to be doing internships, doing study abroad programs, and working in the community. One of the things that Clark really prides itself on is our community commitment. Located in Worcester, we really want our students to feel part of that community. So a lot of our courses, a lot of our internships, and a lot of the clubs that students join have the purpose of giving back to the community around us. So what that looks like for students. So as a first year student, you're going to be put in what we call a first year intensive course your first semester. You can take this in any area. If you can come in undecided, that's totally fine. But this course is going to kind of set the stage for your academic experience at Clark. The first professor that you have in this course is going to be your academic advisor until you declare your major. And it's going to be a small course. It's going to be about 15 or 16 students. And they're going to really get to know you as a human being as well as a student. And they're going to help you kind of set the stage for the rest of your time at Clark in terms of finding advising, helping you pick classes, helping you understand what opportunities exist outside the classroom. All students, in addition to the requirements for their major, fulfill what we call the program of liberal studies. This is our answer to the core curriculum, and these are broad topics. There are 9 different liberal studies requirements that students have to fulfill in addition to the requirements of their major. Those range from things like art to science to history to diversity inclusion, and there's no sort of classes that you have to take to fulfill these. You're allowed to choose classes that make sense for you. For a lot of students who may come in undecided, they use the program of liberal studies as a way of exploring different majors because it is required that you take these courses in different academic departments. If you know what you want to study, that's great. You can absolutely start taking courses right away your first year in that area. But you'll be able to use the program of liberal studies to explore different things, maybe discover a passion and declare a minor or a double major. Our curriculum is designed to be flexible so that students are able to explore a lot of different things. And we actually encourage students to spend, a lot of that first year exploring these courses. Once you've decided on a major, we want you to really get experience outside the classroom. So a lot of the courses that you're going to be taking are going to be calling problems of practice courses or POP courses. And these courses are designed to take you out into the city of Worcester, let you work in schools and nonprofits and local businesses, and really get experience understanding how the things you're studying actually work in the world and how you can use those things to make a difference on a group of people, on an organization, on a community. Some of the courses that our students take for these POP courses are things like French translation, where they'll actually work with a local organization helping refugees who are resettling in the area and helping folks translate legal documents. A lot of students really appreciate these problems of practice courses, not only for the hands-on experience, but because it allows them to really get into what's happening in the city of Worcester and find ways that they can actually make a difference in the community. Students also report having a lot of satisfaction with these problems of practice courses because they can use the networking and the experience that they've had to really leverage themselves into jobs and careers after they graduate. All students before they graduate have to do a capstone project in their senior year in the area of their major. And this project is designed to help you synthesize all of the information that you've been studying for the past couple of years and demonstrate to the community what that looks like, why you've been studying this, why it's important. And the capstone project is unique to you, so there's no sort of one way to do it. You know, some students might do a very traditional honors thesis or research paper. Other students might do something more creative. For example, if you're a student in the arts, you might direct a play, or you might put together a body of artwork or a musical composition. You'll have an advisor that's going to be there with you every step of the way, so you're not going to be overwhelmed. You're going to be ready to take that next step because all of the work that you've been doing up until this point has really allowed you to kind of be ready for that. And a very high percentage of our students are employed in graduate school doing something with their lives directly after they graduate because of the experiences they've had as undergraduates. So they've been given a lot of opportunities to really get their feet wet, get experience, build their resume. So by the time they graduate, they're ready to take on the world. About 1 in 3 of our students actually stay at Clark for the 5th year. It's a program that we have called the Accelerated Bachelor's Master's Program. So students actually get tuition-free masters in 1 year. So they can stay for that 5th year and kind of complete that master's. And our student body is known for being quirky. They're known for being really dedicated to the community. So a lot of our student organizations have that kind of community focus. We have over 130 different clubs, 17 varsity sports. There's no lack of things to do, both on campus as well as in the city of Worcester. And then finally, our application process. Here's kind of the main things you want to remember. We have both early decision, early action, regular decision. We use the Common App, and we've been proudly test optional since 2010. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to get in touch.
Thank you to our presenters for giving us a lot of great information about your respective institutions. We do have some time left, so we're going to do a quick round robin Q&A. So I'm going to share my screen. So the first question we'll do is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And we will go in presentation order. So we will start with the University of Oregon.
I would say reach out to your admissions counselors. We are your biggest advocates throughout the admissions process, and we only want to say yes to you. So ask us questions, show your interest in our universities, and we can definitely assist you with the application process. And so just know that we are your biggest advocates, and don't hesitate to contact us.
From the day the common application or the coalition application become available in early August, spend 15 minutes every day preparing your application during the month of August. You'll be so happy you did when you get to your senior fall and you have so many other things to do. Those 15 minutes will really be well spent each day and give you that confidence of having prepared a very well put together application. That's what Union College recommends.
I would say know that your admissions counselor is here to connect you to the community at large, especially to students, staff, and faculty. There's so many ways to get to know a school. I know our students teams manages an email account called Ask a Student. We have an Instagram account with a different takeover every week, so you get insight on a student's life and the array of different experiences on our campus. So just know it's okay to connect with your admissions counselor, to connect with other members of the campus community. And there's so many stories and people excited to get to know you.
I would add staying open-minded in the process, especially at the beginning. Eventually, you'll come to know what you're looking for, but as you begin this process, I think it's really important to recognize that, there's over 4,000 colleges and universities in the United States, ranging from those big public institutions to small liberal arts colleges to community colleges and everything in between. Maybe there's a major you don't even know exists quite yet. Maybe you think you're set on pre-med or pre-health, but then take one class and suddenly your whole world into sociology is, awoken. And it's just really important to kind of stay open-minded in this process. Maybe there's something you don't know that you like quite yet.
Going off of that, start figuring out what you like now. Start going to info sessions, start doing what you can to learn, figure out what you like in terms of size, location, what programs you might be interested in, all those different factors, because that will help you later on when it's time to, August will hit very soon. So now's the time to start taking advantage of learning what you like and start thinking about what colleges you want to add to your list.
And I think everyone did a great job of answering this question, but the only thing I would add is that while this process is really important and it might be one of the biggest decisions you make in your life, it is not life or death. There are, as we've talked about, thousands and thousands of colleges in the United States, and probably you would have a fantastic experience at many of them. So don't fixate on finding that one college that's going to be, the answer to all of your hopes and dreams, and really keep your mind open to the fact that there are a lot of schools that are going to give you a great education and a great experience.
All right, thank you guys. We do have time for one more question. So we'll go with, what is your favorite event or tradition on your campus? And again, we'll start with University of Oregon.
I would say my favorite tradition is the walk to Autzen Stadium. So our football stadium is about probably a mile and a half away from the center of campus, and on home game days, thousands of people and fans and the marching band gather at the heart of the university, and the marching band leads the way to Autzen Stadium to kick off game day. And it is just an incredible event to see this parade of people decked out in yellow and green with the music playing, and just that celebration and that spirit. And I think that's something that's really special at the U of O.
So Union has a building that I put in the background behind me that has a big dome and 16 sides and 3 floors, and it's open. And the interior right up to the dome where you can see the stained glass insets. It's absolutely fantastic building called the Knott, N-O-T-T Memorial. And when you come to Union, you come into the Knott Memorial and you have your picture taken as a class, and you all have t-shirts that have the alma mater on them. The alma mater is right side up on the back of your t-shirt and upside down on the front of your t-shirt, so you can read it in case you forget the words. And when you graduate from Union, you come back into the Knott and you walk through the west door, which is closed except for graduation time. And you come from your graduation, enter the east, go out on the west, and on the other side, the faculty are there on either side of the pathway to greet you and congratulate you on your graduation. So the Knott is the center of our traditions.
Seattle U, we live up to our expectations as being a city in the heart of Seattle where music is a really big deal. So we have an event called Quadstock that's completely student run. It's a big music festival and an all-day event right in the spring. There's carnival-like festivities. It's hosted by our student radio station. And we've had musicians like OK Go, Macklemore, Deb, and so many more perform. And it's just a really great way to celebrate spring and come together as a community.
I think my favorite Brandeis tradition is something called Kindness Day. It's exactly what it sounds like. Our students will come together for a full day of recognizing each other's strengths and qualities and everything like that, baking each other treats, writing each other notes. But one of my favorite parts of it is that they're recognizing not just students, but also our janitorial staff, our facility staff, our dining staff, and just making sure that everyone receives the recognition that they deserve on our campus.
So our homecoming is based in the spring because of lacrosse. And so shortly after the big homecoming celebration, there is a secret group that puts pink flamingos across this entire quad. And so it's filled with fake pink flamingos like you see on someone's lawn. And so it's a little quirky tradition that has been throughout past 100 years, I believe. So it's always nice to just one day wake up and walk and the entire quad is pink.
So over here in New England, winter sometimes feels like it's going to last forever. We had snow just last week over here. So one of the big traditions at Clark is called Spree Day. And this dates back to, the early 1900s. And it was traditionally the first really nice day in the spring when it's warm enough to be outside and, not wear 16 layers. And so what would happen is they would spontaneously cancel classes and everybody would just spend time outside, hanging out, taking a day off. It's usually right before finals and in that time of stressful period of the semester. So everyone just kind of gets a day off. Now it's a little bit more organized. It's still a surprise, although people do seem to find out about it. But the university will cancel classes and they'll bring in bands and food trucks and activities, and everyone just gets a really nice day off in the spring. And the big tradition is that all the seniors go into the freshman residence halls and wake them up at the crack of dawn by being super duper loud so that everybody can get their Spree Day started nice and early.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us this evening. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey, and we would appreciate any feedback you can provide to us. This is also just one of many sessions. The college fair is up next, so definitely go check those sessions out. And in about a week, you'll be able to find the sessions recording as well as any other recordings from today at strivescan.com/BACS. Again, thank you for joining us, and I hope you guys enjoy the college fair.